Hey guys, welcome in. Today we're going to be looking at the Primaris Psyker and see whether or not she's a good unit. And I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, let you know where I stand, but I'm wondering what you guys think. Is she a good unit for your army? With that being said, let's look at the stats and everything else. For starters here, it's only 100 points to get her in. Her health is 150, which is on par with one Ogren, so keep that in mind as well. I think it's alright. It's not crazy. Obviously, you don't want to write in everybody's face, but it might help in some circumstances. All her other stats are going to be based with everyone else. 4 movement, 4 armor, 5 evasion. Now, in terms of her staff, I want to say this real quick. I made a mistake in the overview guide, and I uploaded it already. I did make a mistake saying that when you use her staff, you can use it every round and it doesn't cost an action point, and I was wrong about that, and I felt like I was wrong. I shouldn't have put it in there saying the cost is 0. That is not correct. That counts as your points added if it was a different weapon to your roster. With that being said, the Force Stave is actually a pretty good attack. You get 1 attack. The base damage is 33 to 45. Splash damage is 26 to 36 with 2 splash, and the armor is 8 with accuracy of 90. Now this is really good, but it's not. And here's the reason. When you're attacking an enemy one time, on the low end you're going to get 33 or 26. Yes, the armor piercing is 8, and that may be really good because it's going to be solid damage against anything that you face. Now let's say that he was almost dead, right? I might get lucky and kill this guy or do enough damage to kill him and then get another splash off. There's just not a great case for it. So yes, this thing can do solid damage, but it's just not a lot. Yeah, so keep that in mind. And she's not meant to be on the front line. I'm just saying that she could do okay. And this is the other reason. So she gets the embedded officer ability. Okay, so she gets... See where I'm saying it's kind of weird? So she's on the back line. She gets a bonus from all the soldiers around her. She can get up to 45 evasion, which is great. If something was to shoot to the back line and try to attack her, she'd have a better chance of dodging it. But the staff just, I don't know. I wish that there was some other ability there, but it is what it is. Now this is ability I can get behind, and that's the Night Shroud. So Night Shroud makes it so that you can put it on an ally within 2 tiles of her. That ally becomes immune to melee zones of control, immune to Overwatch, and cannot be suppressed. Also, plus 20 evasion to that unit, and it expires in 1 turn. You can't use it on other Psykers or herself, so keep that in mind. A unit that's going to charge like the Ogren. You know, we talked about it in the last video. If you want to check that, if you want to see the Ogren and my thoughts on it, you can go in the description section below and go to that unit. But no, for what it's worth, I talked about the Furious Charge being a more suicidal attack, right? You can put the words together. Anyways, because you'll end up in a spot that you don't want to be. Well, you can at least give them 25 evasion. You can make it so they don't get attacked on shooting through people. There's a lot to it. You can make a unit that's charging a lot better, or a unit that's just sitting there. You want to protect them. You could do it on like your Commissar or Castilian. That's some option that you have as well. Next one is Mental Shackles. A single unit within 7 tiles gets -2 movement and -15 accuracy, and that lasts for 2 turns. It also has a cooldown of 2. This is actually pretty nice because you can effectively take a melee user out of combat. You can make it so that they can't attack you, or they can make it a lot harder to attack you. Like let's say you were facing, I don't know, some cannon off in the distance. You would be able to get just close enough to use that debuff, and they're in trouble. You get 2 turns of that. That's going to be very powerful in the long run, so that's a really nice ability.
Mental Shackles pairs perfectly with Harassing Fire from the Armored Sentinel. The Armored Sentinel, when using this ability, will give them -10 accuracy and -1 movement. This is a total of -3 movement and also -25 accuracy. That's absolutely crazy if you really want to debuff one specific unit.
The last one here is Psychic Maelstrom. Create a Psychic Storm that slows all enemies in an area by a movement point of 1. Any enemy unit caught in the storm at the start of the next turn takes 30 psychic damage. Now, one of the cool things about this is it's a solid 30 damage, and that can be very powerful, especially against really weak units, really small units like the
Gaunts or the Goblins, otherwise known as Gretchen. I call them Goblins because let's be honest.
So yeah, that could be really good against units of around 30 health. So just keep that in mind. It's almost like using the frag grenade everywhere, anywhere it's at, except it has no armor value. So just take it from that point. Also, it is 9 tiles total. One thing I also want to bring up is the army cohesion at 3. So you could have 3 of these Psykers. If you were to put all these abilities together and use them every turn, like you could get 3 Psychic Maelstroms. That's gross. You can cover like a whole line. Again, 9 tiles. Come on now, that's sick. And now finally, what you've been waiting for, Is the Primaris Psyker a good unit? And yeah, before I tell you my thoughts and opinions on it, if you guys could take 2 seconds, please hit that like, subscribe for more content. If you could comment, even better. Just keep in mind, YouTube hate videos if people aren't doing those things, so naturally, that's why I ask. All right, so whether or not it's a good unit, my official stance on it is it can be a good unit. I just am not a fan of the unit. I don't like the 100 cost. While that may not be a big number, I feel like to really get the most out of the Psykers, you want to have at least 2 of them in your army, and the abilities don't stack, okay, so keep that in mind. But being able to get like Psychic Maelstrom down would be very powerful. You can't stack them, but if you put them next to each other, that's a good chunk of the battlefield the enemy can't or has to run through. And if they're stuck in a little pocket, that's even more dangerous. Now, the Mental Shackles as well can also help you against more melee style units or units that are going to attack you from range that are giving you absolute troubles. So yes, the debuff is fantastic, and even more so when you have multiple Psykers. Night Shroud is really good too for melee units. If you're not always doing the melee thing, it might not be as advantageous. But if you want to protect like your Commissar or your Castilian, I could see that being powerful. Or you could use the Ogren. You could make him more dodgy. You can use the Bodyguard ability and save one of these guys and also avoid damage. But the idea of the Bodyguard ability is to take that damage. So it's very interesting. The Embedded Officer does give her survivability behind the line. It's not meant to be in the front. Keep that in mind. But if something was to jump to the back line to try to kill her, she is going to be able to ward it off a lot easier because of her low chance to get hit. So is it a good unit? Yes, more so in the right hands and somebody who really wants to utilize those effects every round. I think if you're a multiplayer style of user, then yeah, you could definitely piss somebody off pretty easily using her. I think she would be very fantastic in that regard. Against the AI, I mean, AI doesn't care, but I don't know. I'm torn on this. I would say this is a 50-50 unit. If I want to use her, I'll use her. If not, I won't. But I feel like there's other units that just more damage in this style of game. Getting the kills is a lot more advantageous. But yeah, I'm torn. I'm going to give it a 50-50. I think it's okay. I think it's an okay unit with a good upside. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I way off on this one? Am I right on the money? Or what am I missing? With that being said, guys, thanks for coming out. If you'd like to see more of this content, do the thing, and I will see you in the next video.